Hey everyone, we're Monkey in the Cage, and you're listening to
Gamer's Table!
Badass Gags Out.
Really?
Dude. What?
Hello and welcome to Gamer's Table, a discussion of tabletop role-playing games, war games, movies, books, and other related topics. Be warned, this show may contain some explicit material that may not be suitable for all audiences.
Hello and welcome to Gamer's Table. My name is Eric.
This is Mike.
This is Dan.
This is Mark.
This is Jason.
And I'm Sean.
This episode we're going to talk about our long-going and recently put on hiatus campaign of the Sea Princes, which was a D&D campaign that started pretty, I would say innocently, as most of our campaigns do, as a conversation at the table.
Yeah, it was the tail end of the Hero High, and we were like, what are we going to do next?
Right.
Was it really that long ago?
Actually, it was. We were still playing Hero High.
Yes.
We did the old Kiss of Death.
Yeah, we killed the Hero High with the new campaign.
New campaign talk, right?
So far,
I'm remembering the anger that I felt at the time.
it's the worst campaign ever.
Which one?
This one.
This one?
Horrible.
Oh, he's playing Dan.
We're never going to go back. We'll never go back to it.
That was my contention, is that we would never go
So
back.
let's
Start
start
ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
though.
starting from the beginning, though, it was a discussion we were having about. It wasn't even about what was the campaign going to be, as much as I believe it was how we were going to generate characters for it.
3d6 straight down the line.
That's right. My crusade.
Yes, and that was because up at that point we had not done that in a really long time.
I've never done it.
Now you can say that you have.
Yes, I can.
You are a better person for it.
So
I don't know about all that, but I've done it.
yeah, there was some major bitching going on about the generation of the stats.
Well, if I recall correctly, it just kind of started out. I think you rolled first.
Yeah,
You rolled some stats.
and they were buttes.
So then I started rolling stats, and I rolled pretty decent stats, and I went, all right, keeping it. Just to write, wrote them down, and
Yeah, you guys never need any excuse to just randomly roll stats
For
on a
no
given
reason.
day.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just gonna roll stats, Mike. Okay.
I remember when I rolled my stats, and it was like, and around about the time I started getting excited, it just kept getting lower. And I started with a 17, then I got another 17, then I got a 10. And then I got an 11, and then a 9.
then eventually a 3, wasn't
It
it?
was a 4. It was a 4. If it was 3, it really would have been barely sentient.
Vegetable.
Because I think a griffin has an intelligence of 3.
I would play a griffin.
So anyway, yeah.
If I was a griffin, that'd be fine. I wasn't a griffin. I was a dude.
So we were rolling stats, and we were like, "Well, what is this going to be?" And through the conversation, I think it was
I had for many months been whispering Pirates of the Caribbean in Mike's ear.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like,
and I think that
fantasy sea-based campaign.
for the rest of us, a lot of us who played Savage Tide, though, that left a sour taste in our mouth because we were kind of gearing up for this swashbuckling
That's how I
Seven
designed my
Seas
character. Yeah.
campaign, and then it really didn't follow through because it went a completely weird direction. And so we were kind of like, well, we never really got to scratch that itch. And then all of a sudden we were talking about playing something else. We had just finished playing a long-running Mutants and Masterminds game. We wanted to switch back to D&D because we hadn't, at that point, I don't think we'd played D&D in a while. We were like, let's just do this. And I think it was Dan that said, let's not use any of the ancillary books. Just
Core 3, 3D down the line.
yeah, Core 3, which is I think is a Dan term, which we probably need to explain. Core 3 means just the player's handbook, the DM's guide, and the first monster manual.
Which was liberating.
Right. And well, we also amended it to include the
The source-appropriate book.
right. It was
Stormrack.
Stormrack. Yes.
Which really is not a good book.
It's not, and it really didn't factor into anything we were doing.
Not really, except for my harpoon and a cutlass, I think.
So we went Core 3, and like you said, I think that was very liberating because it proved to me, at least, that we could still play the game that we love and not be mired by all the rules from all the other books and everything like that.
Just the opportunity to pare down all the feats and not worry about, what am I going to take with my whatever this time? It's all right there.
And then you couple that with 3D down the line. Eric, you took, like, first level, you took Great Fortitude or something like that just because you needed hit points.
because my
saving throws.
Yeah, we also
My constitution.
flat out rolled all of our hit points as well, as
Yes.
opposed to
Right.
taking the standard, full hit die at first level.
Right.
We
Yeah.
rolled that die as well.
But we did
No.
we didn't roll it first level?
Maybe you did.
I don't remember. Dude, that was over a year ago. I don't remember.
So, but yeah, so we were really playing it, just paring it down.
Well,
to,
it put a lot of value on things that up until then nobody gave a
right.
second
No,
thought to.
no one ever really took toughness as a feat.
I took a
Until
feat
this
that
time.
gives me +2 to diplomacy and like gather info checks.
yeah.
Because
You
you're
never
ki-
do that
Right.
with your Chris Pronger rule, you
Right.
know?
Sure. And the other thing is, because it's sea-based, your characters aren't going to be wearing armor. As far as equipment goes, you're talking about the clothes on your back and the saber at your side, and that's really all you need. It was
I don't think any of us had a magic item, did we?
not for a long
eventually,
time.
there was-
Oh, you eventually got the magic maca.
well, before that though, I had a magic dagger.
Well, so just
got a +1 ring.
to kind of sometimes when we talk about this, we kind of go off in our own little world and we talk about things as if everybody knows what we're talking about. Character generation. I played a nobleman. I took the first level of rogue. What I was doing is, as I advanced, I was doing rogue and fighter, rogue fighter, and I wanted my guy his actions to reflect a lot from his stats. So
he was a bastard.
he was Araxo Titan, and
Well, he was a bastard. He was the bastard son of some dude.
Yes,
He was literally a bastard.
Yes.
His birth father was a Keo-ish landowner, some minor noble who knocked up a minor noble daughter, and then Lord Titan of the Sea Princes married her and then adopted him,
I see.
and then raised him to be his own son, but
Never knew that.
but was a complete non-existent father to him, treating him as if he was, to have this trophy wife, but to have this albatross around his neck that he had to raise in order to have this trophy wife. So I always played that character as if he was always striving to get his father's approval.
What was your inspiration for him? It was Blackadder?
Blackadder was my inspiration for how I was going to play him day to day, but
You mean like an imbecile?
no, Blackadder.
Well, it depends on which Blackadder, because Blackadder is generational.
Oh.
Only one of them was an imbecile.
Anytime I hear the word Blackadder, I just think of
Rowan Atkinson.
Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah.
So yeah, the inspiration for him initially derived from Blackadder, just his sniveling, plotting, and things like that. But as the character developed and as I started playing him, I decided that a couple of things I was going to do. The first thing was that because he always had this need in him to be accepted by those of higher station than him, that initially I was like plotting for the death of the captain so I could take over because I was put in as first mate and whatnot. But then I decided that really wasn't what he was going to do. He was going to strive to be accepted as seeing the captain as a father figure rather than as a hurdle to be jumped over. So then he would start to do what he did as more, instead of being, sniveling and backstabbing towards the captain, more of a, I'll do this for you, sir. I'll do that for you, sir.
Because our captain really was a very honorable and decent person.
Right. It didn't matter who the captain was, though. I decided that it was, whoever, even if he ended up being deposed and somebody else would be put in his place, that's kind of where Araxa was going to be. He would strive to be a great number 2, but as the character started to progress, he realized that he's probably not the best captain.
See, I assumed that you stopped short of trying to be captain when you realized that once you're captain, there's no place else for you to go. That
Right.
you could only go
Well,
down
and
from there.
I liked portraying that backstabbing, sneaky bastard because I've played that character before, and everybody at the table assumed that's what I was doing.
That is how you started out. You were making drug deals with the rival captains,
Right.
in the first adventure.
Right. So, yeah, and it was something that I kind of realized that I was kind of falling into that old rut, and I wanted to do something different. So I told Mike several weeks down the road, I said, I think I'm going to do a transition where Araxo's going to go from being this sneaky bastard to being somebody that people are going to say, I want you fighting at my side. And in the process of doing those things, becoming more assertive and brave and self-sacrificing and things like that.
I think you fought against your nature at some point a couple times.
Sure. Well, a person can't make a life-altering change like that just by flipping a switch.
Do you know how hard it was for me to play Brother Pickles as a person with 4 intelligence? intelligence.
No, I thought you did really well.
All I had to do was not think about any of my decisions.
So that was the basis of my character, was the sneaky backstabbing bastard who was going to try and redeem himself and become a better guy.
Who's next?
Mark.
All right, I played Brother Pickles, who was basically not really a proper priest, but kind of a worshiper of all sea gods.
He kind of covered all the bases.
Covered all the bases, yeah.
Kind of a savant.
Right, a very much an idiot savant with a 4 intelligence.
Yeah, but you keep talking about the 4 intelligence. But what was your wisdom?
My wisdom was 13.
Yeah, so I mean, you had like,
As much as you like to complain about it, that 4 intelligence never came into play.
Not really.
And as much as you hate to admit it, you love Pickles.
Yes, you did. You hated
love him.
He hated him in the
Sometimes it was an
beginning.
advantage.
Yes.
Sometimes it was an advantage, but
There were a couple times he could have been killed off and didn't.
right. Well, how are you just going to straight up murder a Riri?
there was a couple of cases where your character being slow ended up saving your life because people
Oh, yeah.
took pity on you.
Oh yes.
Right.
All I had to do to really bring that off was, if there was a decision to be made and one was a good decision, I try to think of what would be the opposite and what would be the worst decision that he could make, like jumping into the ocean
With chains.
with
With
chains
manacles,
and
yes.
weighted manacles to rescue someone.
You were just trying to kill yourself.
I was. I don't care.
You were also the ship's cook.
I was the ship's cook
you
'cause that's all I
started
could be
out-
trusted with.
Well, that's an important job on a ship. But, so you started out as an officer.
Yes. So I actually had some authority.
Bunch of crap.
It took you a while to make officer, didn't
But
it?
Pickles,
little bit.
I never actually named the character. Pickles was just the word that he said when somebody asked him his name.
No, I remember it was Dingus. And,
Yes, it was.
And it got changed to Pickles.
I'm pretty sure that's true.
That may well be true.
It's catchy, though. I like it.
I think Brother Pickles is one of my favorite characters in the whole thing.
I think so too. He certainly had more character than some, just
You
putting
would
him.
never in your life have played a character like that had you not been
If you,
forced
yeah,
to.
Has anyone else ever played a character with a 4 in any stat?
No, because anybody else would have ripped up that sheet
I don't know.
in any other situation.
what was Rando's wisdom?
3.
And that's why he always fell for crap.
That's why I played Randall first, because I wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
See
And
how
see, that
that
was
is?
actually my.
Don't accuse me if you're doing the same thing.
No, and
made 3
based
guys.
on that, based on you saying that, and you said that years ago, that Rando, your halfling thief, had a wisdom of 3, and you intended on having him killed off so you can make a new guy.
Right. That was the rules under which we were playing at the time.
Turned out that you loved that character.
Yeah.
And my thinking was that Mark would play Pickles and hate him and want to get him killed off and have to re-roll a new guy, but through playing him would love him. And I think he does.
There was also a fair amount of fear of rolling even worse.
Well, there's always that.
Well, and I think in the end, how the campaign closed, I think he's probably more willing to play Pickles now than he was before.
Now I'm really concerned about what to do with Pickles.
Because he's
Because
intelligent.
he's no longer
Right.
no longer Pickles.
we'll get into that when we let Mike talk about the actual plot of the thing.
Right. Pickles was pretty good in a fight and was a decent healer, but
Well, yeah, because he was super strong. He
Right,
was like
he-
17.
had a 17 strength, a 17 dex, so he was fairly hard to hit with not having any armor.
Yeah.
I
And,
liked his unconventional weapon.
Oh yes, my unconventional weaponry. We found a port where the fellas could buy firearms and be proper pirates with their muskets and whatnot. So they're all loading up with all their cuts of the treasure, buying masterworked muskets and pistols and whatnot. And I go and I find a cutler, and I say I need a masterworked carving knife and a matching masterworked butcher's knife.
There you go.
And I treated him as a hand axe and a dagger, and those were my weapons. And
Didn't you also have a harpoon?
I had a harpoon, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
And a pot. I heard, or a ladle.
He would also fight with whatever he had to hand. It was like, he fought with the pot and ladle when
We fought a giant alligator, and it was a pot and a
we
ladle.
were camping on the beach. I was preparing dinner, and we got jumped by an alligator. And I took to smacking the thing with my iron pot and ladle.
Right.
And you also had very interesting cuisine that you came up
Yes,
Ugh.
the chocolate starfish.
Ugh.
with, right? Which is another term for the anus, by the way.
anus.
Not a starfish made of chocolate, but a starfish covered in chocolate.
Yes.
Covered in magic shell chocolate.
Well,
And the other one I had was the hair pie, which was just a rabbit meat pie.
Yeah, it's like it's a rabbit. Yeah.
Rabbit stew.
just a couple of conies.
That's right.
See, and this is why he's the greatest character Mark has
Exactly.
ever played.
Because it was an outlet for his silliness,
Yes.
but was also a capable fighter and a integral part of the group.
So that's Pickles.
That's Pickles.
In a nutshell.
Jason.
Or in Magic Show.
Well, let's see. My original idea, Eric had the name of the character he was going to play,
Right, which I
you had used.
mentioned in Names
Right.
episode that I had used. Araxo Titan he was a ship captain in an online play-by forum game that I was doing, and it went nowhere.
It sounds like detergent.
Araxo Titan?
Yes.
So